right, we'll get back to square one. We're going to base our conversation on John's books, Stolen Identity, available on Amazon. Okay. And then The Historian's Tale. And there will be links for both of these on the website, which I'll show later on today. Okay. But we're going to do some Q&A, and we're just going to assume we're recording, and I cannot see anyone's comments or whatever. So we're just going to wing it, which is what we do.
And with that said, Mary Maxwell that helped write the historian's tale.
Yeah.
Gotta love her. You gotta
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
She's you know, she runs circles around me. So
Well, you know, you've got some great people that are helping to get the story out there. So thank you, Mary. I don't know if she watches these, but I
yeah,
mean,
she does.
it's a lot of effort to put together this, and I know she did it quickly. And it's just one more thing to get interest built around your story. And we had another person that went down to Dallas on Saturday with a beautiful board with pictures all over it, handing out little flyers that she made, talking to people. And she said she gave out 180 flyers, which is substantial. All right.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so wonderful.
totally
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, bless her heart. She sent me pictures of what she was doing, and I was like, wow. I was in shock and awe
Yeah.
that she would go out of her way, do all that, hand out
Yeah.
the flyers. She made a beautiful board
Yeah.
showing a lot of the evidence, the ears, and things like that. Bless her heart. I wish,
Yeah.
I hope she inspires more people to do things like that because
Yeah.
we're all in this together. And what a true lion. There's many lions popping up in other countries in Australia and England and France and
Um,
Japan, and we're gonna do it this year. We're
right.
we're gonna we're gonna do
This
it
is
this
the
year.
year. This is the year. You already know I've said that a million times.
Yep.
We can see stuff being revealed in the outside world, the news and all the stuff that's starting to really show on the news. Finally, not the news channels so much, but we're getting the truth out there. Slow, but it's getting out there. So that's what we need, is to get the
Yeah.
story out.
Another real true lion. This bumper sticker right here. I was like, yay! Yeah, I was like, what a wonderful idea. People had come up, with the
Yeah.
idea in the past, and it was like, well, I don't have funds to make bumper stickers and advertise. My big thing is to share a post for 20 bucks or something on
Yeah.
Facebook or TikTok or whatever, but they actually sent me 20,000 bumper stickers, people. Just think if we had lions, um, like the gal that went to Dallas to hand out, I'm thinking I was at Walmart the other day and it's like I could run around putting these and handing these out to people,
Yeah.
you know. Hey, let's use what they used to destroy my family and me against them. Just like the dollar bill that we wrote The Quiet Journey on.
Right.
They love money. Unaliving my family, keeping me hidden and in poverty all these years. All about money and power. So let's use the mighty dollar bill. So when people see a dollar bill and they're like, The Quiet Journey, what the hell is that? Maybe they'll
Yeah.
go see some truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so for anyone that wants a bumper sticker or a little bundle of them, if you would, in the description is John's mailing address. Send your an envelope with maybe another self-stamped envelope in it with your address on it. Just make it easy on John and put a couple of stamps on the one that returns to you. But he'll send you a little handful of these and you can hand them out to your friends or put them on bulletin boards or whatever you need, right?
Yeah, me and Robin handed out bunches.
Yeah.
Two stamps, two forever stamps. You get 20 of these, but some came back saying I owed 6 cents. One said I owed 9 cents. I guess they go from where you're at in the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Some people donated some stickers so I could, some
Stamps. Yeah.
postage stamps so
Yeah.
I could send some stickers. So bless your heart for that.
Yeah.
We're going to get it out. We're going to get it out. Somebody in Bullhead asked to volunteer here and meet me, and I'm still waiting to meet them and hook up with them. so we can get some help mailing 20,000 bumper stickers out,
Right,
which is it's huge.
right.
The government, the people in power don't want this story out at all. One person that hears my story, it's a huge achievement. It really is. It's
Exactly.
huge. We're
Exactly.
up against Goliath, people. We really are,
Yeah.
and we need all your help and support to get the truth out.
Yep. So I know the people that normally watch our videos are very loyal. They're very dedicated. They've done a great job, and we thank them. And I guess it's for the new people. We'd refer them back to the book. Now, in the description, which I'll put below, there is a person that's helped by reading the book to YouTube. So if you don't
Yeah, that was,
physically,
and I haven't seen her lately. I hope she's doing well. It
yeah,
was wonderful that she did that for people that
yeah,
want to
yeah,
know more. She spent a lot of time and energy on that.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen her on the internet lately, but I haven't been on the internet a whole lot either. So
Yeah, well, so all of that will be, all the resources are going to be in the description below, so somebody can get the information the way that it's best for them. So if they don't like to read, they can listen. You can buy the book, you can share the books around, and all the other stuff that we always talk about. Getting the story out there is crucial, and it's not just really a US based story. Like we talk about America like it is like to us the center of the earth, right? This is a global story. It's happening everywhere. It's happening to way more people than we even can understand at this point.
I had a weird thing happen to me too, Sue, the other day.
Okay?
I was mailing a book to France, one of my books, and I was questioned at the post office if the book was in English or in French. And I asked, why would you even ask me that? And they said, because if it's in French, you can't send it. You're not allowed to send it. I was like, what is this world coming to when there's restrictions of keeping things from your own language? It's,
That's odd. I
yeah, I thought it was, and, they were at the post office, they were like, yeah, this is real. We're not allowed to send a book if it's in French.
that's very odd.
I, yeah, I don't believe too much unless I actually know it. But yeah, that was my
Mm.
experience anyway.
That's odd. Okay. Well, hey, as long as they let you send it, that's the main thing, you
Yeah,
know.
that makes me want to put one in French and send it to France because I don't like rules.
You
I
think the
don't.
same way
I
I
don't
do.
like rules. I
Let's
want to be a badass and fuck the rules
let's
that
poke the
that our
bear.
government has. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, ready for the questions?
sure.
All right, so I'm just going to randomly ask them, okay? All right, do you know if General Patton is related to the Kennedys and to Trump?
I've heard that, but the way of my thinking, I honestly don't know.
Right.
I knew two Patton brothers, and this was when I was in Coarse Gold, California, and I was in my teens. They were older. They were in their 50s or 60s, I believe. It was two brothers, Richard and Bobby Patton was their name. And they talked about being related to General Patton. And there's a story behind that. They both ended up dying.
Oh,
One of them stood up for me. Um, I believe it was Bobby that stood up for me with my father in law at the time. I don't remember the circumstances, but the father-in-law was standing there saying he was going to kill me, and Bobby stood up to him and said, "What the fuck are you fucking with the kid like that for?" He ended up dying. That was a weird circumstance there, and I'll share that story. Um, I knew Bobby. He actually he lived in Corsica, but he moved up to a little town called Awani, and I got a phone call and I wasn't there. So when I got home, Dorothy quickly said, by the way, Bobby called you last night and said it's urgent. You have to call him. I don't know if I was out partying all night or what. I was a young man and I did a lot of partying back then. But anyway, I got home in the morning and Dorothy quickly said, "Oh, Bobby called, said it's important, call him." So I called Bobby Patton and his daughter answered the phone and said, "My daddy died last night." So I do not know what happened, why he called me the night he died saying it's urgent. It is very important. Maybe he wanted to tell me something about what was going on, people trying to kill me. I know he stood up for me with the in laws. So I don't know the circumstances. His wife showed up a couple days later with the wedding rings, their wedding rings. I, what was her name? Oh, I think it was Carol or Carmen or something like that. But I showed up on the motorcycle at the house and she was sitting on the porch. And I said, "Hey, I'm sorry about your loss and all this." But she had his and her wedding rings in her hand and said, um, "I need some money to bury Bobby. Can you help us out?" And I've been broke my whole life. I was like, God, I wish I could. But it's just really weird, that story. I thought I'd share it because what happened was really odd. It really was strange.
Okay, so questions. They were related to General Patton.
That's what they told me. Yes. Do I know that for a fact? No, but
Okay,
their last name was Patton.
okay.
Um, they lived in Coarse Gold. I actually rented a lawnmower shed from them. This was when all this craziness was going on, and I was dating my first only wife, Lisa, a member of the Cabal. But anyway, they rented me a lawnmower shed. I had a cot in it, and that was my crash pad.
Oh, you lived in a lawnmower shed.
Yeah,
Okay.
in their
So-
backyard in Indian Lakes, California.
Okay, okay,
John Kennedy Jr. was living in a freaking lawnmower shed, people.
okay. I'm adding that to the list. So who was it that said he was going to kill you and why?
That was a father-in-law.
Of Lisa?
Yeah, he was a real prick. He really was. Um, Another short story. One day we went over there. He was a drunk. They were both pill poppers, drunks. And Lisa to this day says I'm the drug addict. But anyway, um, Lisa was with me and her little brother and sister. And to my guess, they could have been all victims of child trafficking, the way I've learned to this day. But we were out. We got back to their house. I was dropping Lisa off and her little brother and little sister. And when they opened the door, her stepfather was jumping up and down on her mother laying on the floor, killing her. He was literally jumping up and down on her lifeless body that was on the floor. I mean, just jumping up and smashing down on her. So they were all crying, freaking out. What's going on? You're killing my mother. They got in the car. We went to the Quigleys. She got on the phone. She called the police. The police showed up. I had nothing to do with calling the police or whatever, even though, you know, that was my rule back then. You don't call the cops. But anyway, the cops got there. The next day, I went over there and her stepfather and grandfather took me for a ride in this convertible. And we stopped on the side of a road next to a vacant lot. And he pulled out a shotgun, pointed it at my face, and said, "If you ever call the cops on me again, I'll kill you." That was the type of man he was. He was a crazy fucking nut. Um, if murder was legal and I wasn't the nice guy that I was, I probably would have killed him along. But he's gone now. God works in mysterious ways. But that's the kind of shit I had to go through. It really
Okay.
is.
So just to reiterate the story, you guys got home, you walk in the house, he's beating up the mother, jumping up and down on her. Did she live?
Oh yeah.
So what happened with her?
She didn't press charges on him
Of
or
course,
refused to press charges on him.
yeah.
But then he put all the blame on me and not on his own kids for doing that. So now he was pissed off at me, threatened to kill me and bury me in this field we were parked next to. And I was like, just soaking it all in. You know, somebody's got a sawed off shotgun pointed at your head over something I didn't do. You know,
Yeah.
he was drunk. He was the idiot. He's the one that did that. His kids are the ones that called the police to put a stop to it.
Okay. All right. So how did the Patton brothers get involved with this story? Besides that you were
They
living
all
in
hung out together.
ah,
Um, yeah, it was kind of like they met. Lisa's my stepfather or whatever you want to call him, Ray was his name, and I think I met the Pattons through Ray.
ah,
But then once they saw the true colors of Ray and what an asshole he was towards me, they stood up for me.
okay. Wow, what a crazy
And then
story.
while you know when they stood up for me, they even rented me their lawnmower shed. So
So you basically lived in the lawnmower shed. So they lived near the Quigleys, I'm assuming.
yeah,
Okay.
there's two great big subdivisions that were probably you know it was all run by the Cabal,
Yeah.
little private. But Yosemite Lakes Park was a gated community, you know, 5 miles down the road from a place called Indian Lakes. My ex and her family lived in Indian Lakes with Bobby and the Pattons, and then you know the Quigleys lived in the next subdivision down.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very interesting.
So that's about as much as I know about Pattons, but they were very proud to be Pattons. They were very proud of their relative, General Patton. Do I know if I was related to them? Being
Yeah.
I've been told that Patton was Trump and related to me. I don't know. I don't, you know, who knows anymore with
Yeah.
child trafficking and switching children around. You don't know. And then you
Yeah.
got AI and all this artificial bullshit going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watch so many videos that people are trying to bullshit you on anymore.
Yeah.
The truth is like being coming common with public is bullshit, people.
Yeah. They I'm watching a channel in my free time, which, is like about zero, that shows how one, we'll call them celebrity, doesn't matter who they are, is like they die in their life and then we'll call it recycled. They're brought back as another celebrity. So a little bit has changed in their appearance, but a lot of that is true. I've watched
Yeah.
every video I've watched has been true so far. So a lot of people are brought back into different roles. So what that leads me to believe is that nobody is who they say they are out in the world of entertainment and politics, right?
Right. And the ones I've all met are handled by the cabal, all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. So interesting.
But
So we
for
don't really
talking about
know. Go ahead.
General Patton, just to let everybody know, the movie Patton with George C. Scott
Yeah.
as playing Mr. Patton is one of my favorite movies. It really
Mhm.
is. I was always into war movies. You know, I've always, I think I probably watched every war movie.
Yeah.
But I was always into that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that say that Trump is a reincarnation of Patton, right? So we don't know what the real truth is, but it's interesting to listen to the theories, that's for sure.
Yeah. In
Okay.
that movie, Patton, he had some pearl, um, pearl handled thingies here. Like I got JFK on there. And in the movie, it's like, I'm no pimp. Those aren't ivory. Those are, uh, I mean, those aren't, what do you say? Those aren't pearl. Those are ivory handles. But anyway, yeah, I'm getting the scenario mixed up. But
Okay.
he was proud to have his ivory handled sidearm with him.
Okay. I haven't seen the movie, so can't comment on that. All right. Next question. How old were you when you were with Elvis in Hawaii?
Oh, geez. I honestly don't know. I mean, I could research it to the movies that he did while he was there and then put the date with the age, but I was pretty young.
Okay.
Um, Barbara Stanwyck, um, I remember her. She was a big time actress. Um, I think she played on Big Valley, the show Big Valley. She was Mama on Big Valley, on other big shows. She was a big time actress, but I remember she was there, and I sat next to her on Elvis's plane when we went to Hawaii.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could do a little research and find the exact days, but
Yeah, no, no, no. So were you, say, a teenager? Were you under 10? Like, were you 20?
oh yeah, I was young. I was young,
Like 10,
real
20?
young.
Yeah, young.
And there was many times I would met Elvis. There was many, many times I was with Elvis.
All right.
There was a lot of times, so it was probably over years, from all the times, you know,
Okay.
all the way from when I was a teenager on the back of his trike,
Right.
the picture that's in my book.
Yeah.
But I actually, and I know a lot of the stories that I haven't shared about that too. But as the exact age, there was I was there plenty of times with Elvis. Elvis was their big prize for the Cabal.
Right.
He really was.
Would you say
I mean,
Elvis?
you got the Cabal. They run everything, but they have their big prizes. The people that really make them the big time
Right.
dollars, and
Right.
Elvis was one of them that made the Cabal big time
Right.
money.
Yeah. Did you see that movie about Elvis that came out like maybe 3 years ago or so? And it showed how his manager basically kind of controlled him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was a,
remember stories about his manager too.
yeah, beautifully done movie, but and you could see the talent Elvis had, and it just like kind of ripped your heart out to see how he
Well,
was
when
treated.
I think of Elvis, I think of a man that's being run by the Cabal.
Yeah,
Elvis was making them so much money.
yeah,
They wouldn't give him a break. They really wouldn't. They wouldn't let the man relax. He was making movies, he was doing music, he was spending all his time to make the Cabal money.
yeah,
And a good scenario is that is Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso art is worth millions. They wouldn't let him rest. They were selling his artwork. They were having him pump out artwork. They were like, you make this artwork or else. And that's the Cabal. And that's the same thing they did with Elvis. They worked it, they knew they were making money off Elvis, so they worked him into the ground. So now you got Elvis drinking, popping pills, um, hating people for what they do and not giving him a break. Michael Jackson is a wonderful example of that too. Michael Jackson was one of their big time stars. So they were working Michael Jackson, but he was making so much money for the Cabal and more than likely victims of MK Ultra.
right, right. Well, it's for sure when anyone has money, they're being controlled. They're they're on the radar, like everyone's watching them. Of course, the citizens are watching too, for the enjoyment of the music or whatever it is. But the guys that want the money and control are definitely involved. Okay.
Yeah, it's really going to be difficult to take our country back from these people. It really, really is going to be hard unless we all stand up, and do a little bit to help each other, do a little bit to help take our country back for we the people, because
Yeah.
it's hugely run by criminals. It is. And there's so many people that have been blinded and waving their flags for these criminals. They got us sewn up. They do. So it's really going to be hard to get the truth out and wake these people up so we can make a big difference. But we got to start somewhere. We do.
We're getting the truth out now, and it is making a difference, even if it's small at first. It has, like the snowball at the top of the mountain has to start small, but it gathers momentum. It gathers bulk as it goes down the mountain. So we're gathering people now, and you can see it's slowly growing because we've
It
got a
is.
lot of obstacles, but it's growing. It's getting out there.
Yeah, it
So
really is. I
never
was
fast.
just, while you were saying that, I was thinking about my Facebook, how it's kind of just trickling upwards, even though it should have millions and millions of subscribers right
Yeah,
now. It's just
yeah,
still kind of trickling. If they wanted my story out and not hindering it, we would have millions of viewers right here, right now. We
yeah.
really,
Yeah. Well, we like we're being censored as we speak with Zoom. They didn't want me on here today. Now, when I do videos with any other person on planet Earth, just about, it's no problem logging in. But like usually they won't even let me get to Zoom anymore. Okay,
Hmm.
which is what we're using. And yesterday I was doing some work on your videos on my channel and they kicked me off my own channel. Multiple times. And all I was doing was editing the description to make it better. Okay, so there is definite censorship. We're tiptoeing down the lane, but it's got to be lifted, right? Yeah. Oh,
It's on God's time. So
all
if
right.
we're working with God, let's help out God get it going.
Yep. Yep. Okay, now I want to share your channel because I want to ask about this one. I just have to find the share button. But the question is, what role did you play on Mayberry RFD, the television show?
Mayberry RFD is a spinoff, I believe, from the Andy Griffith show.
Oh, or maybe that's the same one. Yeah.
Um,
There we go.
I really don't remember, to tell you the truth. I haven't. Jody took all the things that I did in my Hollywood career, put them in a little movie, and
Yeah.
I still haven't. I haven't watched them yet. I don't know if that's the one where they put the 50 cent piece on my head. There was so many little parts I played in as uh, as a young actor,
Yeah, yeah.
but I really don't know Mayberry RFD.
I think that was so okay. We're here at the website, the real John F. Kennedy Jr.com. Okay, the one and only website that has got all your stuff on it. We're going over to gallery, all right, and down toward the bottom left is a little thing of these movie clips. I want to show people how to get to them. Now, it might buffer right now if
I
we're
love that picture right there, Sue.
wait, which one? This one?
That one right there, I love it.
With you with the Hell's Angels?
Yeah, that picture right there is huge. That picture of me is I've been sharing my story for so long about the Hells Angels protecting me, dying for me, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And that picture of me with that full blown Hells Angels vest and patch on, it is huge. You know, that patch represents so very much. And here I am at 5 years old with it on my back. It is so big. And not only on my back, but you know, me with the president of the Hells Angels, Sonny. That's just huge. I never knew that picture existed until last week. I didn't. But seeing the picture, I remember that. Pictures bring back memories. But I've been sharing the story the whole time that hey, the Hells Angels were there protecting me, keeping me safe, and I learned a lot from the Hells Angels. I really, really did.
Yep.
Um, but there's a whole story behind that picture, and one of the stories is Sonny, around that year, maybe a year later, volunteered, wrote a letter to the President of the United States, volunteering the Hells Angels for special missions. That they volunteered, the Hells Angel organization was volunteering to go to Vietnam. So when I share my Vietnam stories, um, they took Sonny up on that offer secretly. Our CIA
Really?
did.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a huge huge thing. And then another thing that came up with this picture was John Walton. John Walton was the son, and I have even said that they killed John Walton in a plane crash to take over Walmart and every other thing the Cabal did. And John Walton, the son of Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, was there. He's the one that handed me the leather straps to put the ears of his kills on, giving me credit for those kills. So if you tie the Waltons, Sam's Club, Walmart, it all goes back to this picture right here. It really does.
Okay, so is this Sonny here, the guy on your, like in front of you?
Yeah,
Okay, that's Sonny. So he's like the leader of the Hells Angels. I guess that,
he just recently passed away last year. I
okay,
believe it was last year.
okay.
But yeah, he was the president of the Hells Angels. In my book, you will see that man right there on a trike behind Elvis Presley.
Ah,
So
okay. Tied
it's
in.
all the same deal. It's
Okay.
all the same clique of people.
Okay. Who's this guy right here?
I'm really not sure because we weren't allowed to say names,
Ah,
but I called him Larry. I just looked at the picture and said, "Oh, that looks like Larry." But I shared this picture on Facebook the other day, and somebody said, I didn't say I thought his name was Larry, but somebody said that's Terry. So I was close, being as this picture was, 55 years ago or something like that,
yep,
whatever.
yep.
But
Okay.
somebody said that was um, Crazy Terry or something. But I wasn't allowed to call none of them by names.
Okay.
He would have been brother to me.
All right.
If he walked
So,
into a room, I would have said, "Hey, brother."
so basically, between the Hells Angels and the Secret Service guys and all the people you hung around with, you got so much military training exposure and survival information, I guess you'd say. And so when you went overseas to do your secret missions, you knew what to do pretty much.
I always did what I was told, though.
Yeah.
They
Um,
were teaching me, I said I went to Vietnam as a child. These guys right here in this picture took me to Vietnam to hide me out. There was people trying to kill me. There was federal agents trying to end my life, and then you had the people sending them to Vietnam, and they're like, "We're taking a kid with us to Vietnam. He'll be safe there." So when they were teaching me, and like when I was in Vietnam in the jungle with these guys, they were like, "You just shut the fuck up. Don't say a word. You're not allowed to talk." And they flat out told me when I was that young, "If you talk, we'll kill you." That was these guys telling me they would kill me.
yeah.
So here I'm looking at the guys protecting me are going to kill me if I say a word.
Yeah.
And then I got the enemy out there shooting back at us too. But I just did what I was told. I shut the hell up. I learned they would teach me things, um, crazy things sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So what are all these trophies in back of them? Do you know like where this is?
I don't. It was probably at a clubhouse or their house, and more than likely that's some kind of motorcycle trophies that Sonny got or
Okay.
something or other. I'm really not. I couldn't say. I don't know.
Okay. All right. One of the questions I received is, did you ever receive a Purple Heart?
Um, I was told I earned one like 3 times. One of those times was in Cambodia when I was blown up, thrown through the water, and hospitalized. And one was in a helicopter crash where my ass went through my neck. It felt like because we hit the ground so freaking hard, and that was all I remember. But I think there was three times that, and they make a big deal of it. Like you don't need those medals, and I would love to have them now. I really, really would. One time was when I was that little. They made me a tunnel rat. Okay, in Vietnam, the Viet Cong, whatever, they had tunnels everywhere. I mean, everywhere. That's how they stayed alive. When we were dropping our bombs, it's because they lived in tunnels. Well, me being that size, they would give me a flashlight and just say, "Go in there and see what you see and come back."
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but that, being that young, here I am crawling through a hole with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Um, there was one guy, a long, long story. One of the tunnel rats that I knew was a drunk, and he didn't show up. They needed him one day, and he didn't show up, or if he did, he showed up drunk, and they wanted to kill him right there. That's the way they were. If you pissed them off, they would kill you or give you a mission that would kill you.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst job ever to me for multiple reasons. Okay, side question. Now that Vietnam is over, do you think there was any other reason for the Vietnam War other than what we've been taught? All right, we've been taught we were sent over there to prevent communism.
I really don't know. I would have to do a little research on that myself, but
All right,
when you think about why we would go to war, it's over money and power.
of course. Yeah,
So it had to do more than likely with us wanting something to gain something of some kind.
right,
Um,
right. I've heard
I
some,
couldn't say. I really couldn't say. I've never done any research why we actually went to Vietnam to do what we did. I
I've
I
seen,
know a lot of people were pissed about it though. A lot of
oh
people were
yeah,
pissed, like, why the fuck are we here?
yeah.
Why are these people dying for this freaking lousy piece of dirt?
I've heard rumors that we were, basically bombing Vietnam and going to war there because of either giants and or aliens living in that area, that we just wanted to basically cover up evidence of something. And there's all sorts of theories going around like that. I just wanted to know if you had any inkling if that was true or not.
I would just have to say it's over money.
Yeah. And we always know that when there's a war, it's over money and power and control, wiping out the indigenous population, taking over their land. But we also basically took a lot of the orphans and a
Well, I
lot
know
of,
the CIA was making a lot of money off that
yeah,
war.
yeah,
So you got organized crime within our CIA,
yeah,
and they're making money off of it.
yeah,
And they're one of the reasons why they didn't want to stop the Vietnam Wars because they were making so much money
yeah,
from doing whatever they were doing, whether it was weapons or.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
we know drugs, we know weapons, and we know trafficking. So they would take women and, of course, babies and bring them back to the US to do whatever they wanted with them. Horrible stuff. So,
yeah, I
um,
know a lot of the kids over there that when men go to war, they're not always behave themselves. So there was a
yeah,
lot of half breeds there,
yeah,
and those children were really treated like shit.
horrible.
Hey, Robin, I think Bubba wants to go out.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go on to the question, which was about the movies, and I wanted to show you slash the audience this on the website. If you go to the gallery page, down almost to the bottom, there's this movie clip listing.
Now,
Okay.
if you scroll down just a little bit more, Sue,
Okay.
she put two pictures side by side. The picture of me in the helicopter,
Right here.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then me with Sonny, the
Yeah.
president of the Hells Angels. I don't know how anybody could not see that that is me. I get the haters.
Yeah.
But then there's a wonderful picture that Jody sent me. I believe it was Jody sent me of me in bed as a Hollywood actor with Doris Day. I would love to see those three pictures side by side because it's undeniable. With all these people that saying George is George and
Yeah.
all the haters and spin when it's right in their face, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so these are the pictures right here that we're really talking about. Yeah. All right, so I want to go back to the movies though. All right, so over on the bottom left here are the movie clips. All right, so we had one about Mayberry RFD. It shows the series and episode, and there is the clip there. I'm clicking on it now, and I'm just gonna tell you, it buffers super slow. Okay, so if anyone wants to watch the show, there you go. And I'm not gonna watch it because it's like, the old shows are super slow, but it also
Yeah.
buffers a lot. But they're there for the audience to look at, to see the likenesses between the actor and you as a little child, right?
And another thing, if you notice, if you do go take the time to watch me as a child actor, you'll see I do things with my left hand. I was left-handed. They scolded me not to use my left hand anymore.
Right, right.
Um, if you look at videos from me in the White House with my father, with my mother, you'll see I'm carrying my toy gun in my left hand. I'm always doing things with my left hand. Um, yeah. And another thing I found the other day, somebody sent me a wonderful book. It has a picture of me with my mother. Um, and I'm holding the airplane that I was supposed to leave on my father's grave that the Secret Service took from me and gave me a boat instead. And so many wonderful, wonderful things that are in
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah, yeah. A lot of these are great pictures, and I'm looking at your Facebook posts and what people are putting out, and they're digging up the best stuff. So thank you guys for doing that.
Oh, it's so appreciated.
Yeah,
This story is so big. There's so many pictures
yeah,
and so much that when they, like Henry and Mojo and Lanny and on,
yeah,
so many wonderful people that dig up stuff and
yeah,
share with me.
yeah,
Yeah, I get so many
yeah,
wonderful people trying to help, and it is
yeah,
so very much I can't express how appreciative I am. I really, really can't. I don't have money to send people gifts and thank yous. I don't have the time, but it's just so appreciated for what people are doing. It is.
Well, you have been sending books with the pendants that people order. And speaking of, I want to show the pendants again. And the books are never guaranteed. But the pendants are a way that John basically pays for living expenses and buys books that he continuously gives away. Don't do that. But that is, you want to get the story out so bad, you're willing to give those books away. And sometimes they're autographs. So here are the pendants. There are 5 colors and 2 sizes. So we got on the left is small, on the right is big. All right, bigger. They're dog tag style, and they basically show the cover of John's book and the title of the book on the back. Fabulous, really well, beautifully made pendant.
They're
And again,
nice. I wear mine. I don't ever take mine off.
yeah,
I love it. But with this pendant, people, the proceeds go to me and it helps me with my expenses, living and everything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
So when you go and you purchase a pendant, you're basically saying we support and love you, John.
yeah,
And sometimes I'll have books I'll autograph and send with it with a thank you card or whatever I can do. But you're basically saying we support you. And not only that, it's got source directives, healing frequencies, and it's a collector's item. It
yeah,
is.
yeah,
You'll be able to hold this up and say, I supported John. Because
yeah,
there was, King Smarty gifted me 1,000 of these. So there's only 1,000 of them out there. So it's making history. You can be proud to own one of these and say, hey,
yeah,
we went with the fight and we helped John
yeah,
so much in getting a pendant.
yeah. So
And
now,
you have, instead of sending me $100, you get the pendant, and yeah,
yeah.
it's a win-win
So,
for
so
everybody.
here's one of the best things about the pendants too is in addition to the collector's items ability of them, all right, they have healing and protective frequencies in them. All right, and this is just a partial list. There's billions of healing frequencies in there, but protection against what? EMFs and radiation, stuff like that. So we've watched you, John, in the past year, go from, not as good looking as you do now. You're looking healthier, happier, more
I'll
robust.
never be good looking, Sue.
Don't say never, never say never. But you've been wearing your
Excuse me.
healing and your frequency infused pendant for a little over a year, just doing your thing, right? Not really changing much else in your life, although you've had support and other emotional things happen, but your health has improved dramatically. So if
Oh
anyone is
yeah.
new to the channel and doesn't believe me, go back to the first couple of videos and look at
I
John.
really over like a year and a half ago when I was making videos, I thought I was dying. I was feeling like I was dying.
Yeah.
Some of the videos you can see I'm all white and I'm just trying to, hey, I just want to share my story before I die. But yeah, I was, that even the
Yeah.
doctors, I think it's going on 2.5 years now since I had my heart surgery,
Yeah.
where they were like, "You're probably gonna die, buddy," and it's like I don't know how many times doctors told me that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I am feeling a lot better, so much better from a year and a half ago, anyway.
Yeah, so we're just basically the healing properties of the pendant on that page are they're only it's only a fraction of what's in there. So you always receive way more than you think you are, but it is a really passive way for healing. So even if somebody doesn't 100% believe it, you could just wear the pendant or put it in your jewelry box or have it around your food or your water. So it adds those frequencies to water and food, and when you consume them, it goes into every cell. And over time, it's you get feeling better, 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 better,
And
better.
you gotta help yourself too. I went to the doctor the other day,
Yeah.
and the doctor said my diabetes is through the roof. It was going down, now it's way up there. And I think when she said that, I was thinking, yeah, that's because I have a milkshake every other night. And I made brownies the other day. And, so I gotta be good too. I can't be eating cake and ice cream before bed. And
Yeah.
I have gained since I met Robin, I've gained 10 pounds.
Well, yeah, it's funny, but it's not the healthiest food, but yet we all do it. Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We probably have time for like another question or two, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
fine.
So, do you know of a guy called the West Coast Wizard?
Oh yeah, he's tried to friend me a few times.
Yeah.
And actually when I first friended him, I don't remember if it was TikTok or Facebook or whatever. I saw a video he had, and he was comparing himself to George Onassis, my stepbrother, the man that stole my identity and pretended to be John Kennedy Jr. And he was comparing himself with a full grown beard, trying to trick people, deceive people, thinking that the West Coast Wizard was him.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this asshole trying to bullshit people all about? Because I know the real story.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? What are you trying to
Yeah.
do here?
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah. So there's many fake accounts out there of him. Somebody said do a interview with him. And I was like, I won't give that fake and fraud a waste of
Right.
my time.
Right.
So yeah, he's a fake. He's a fraud. He's nowhere near my stepbrother. He doesn't even look like my stepbrother, but he's trying to pull the people. And when you sign on to his account, then he tries to sell you something, some money market bullshit. So right away he's trying to be a fake and fraud and then sell you something. So yeah, stay away from the West Coast Wizard people. And with that said, also they took my TikTok account down. Um, I don't know what it was, 6, 7, 8 months ago, or maybe longer than that, maybe closer to a year ago. And all these fake accounts were left up. There's still people pretending to be me. So my identity was stolen. I'm trying to get my identity back, saying, hey, I'm the real John Kennedy Jr. And then you got all these fake motherfuckers out there pretending to be me, hitting you up. Buy a pendant. They don't have a pendant to sell you. Buy a book. They don't have, maybe they have a book. They could have bought one. But yeah, there's a lot of fake
Yeah.
people out there
Yeah.
pretending to be me right now.
So we had talked about this before. For anyone watching, John is not going to contact you directly to ask you to buy something or invest or do anything like that. That's a fraud. The only place you can get the pendants is through the website I just showed you, the real John F. KennedyJR.com. That's the only place they're sold ever. Now, the books are sold either on Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble, or Lulu, which you can link through the same website. But there's nothing else that John is selling. Now you've got
Yeah.
t-shirts as well. On
Yeah, they're actually on the website.
yeah, on this,
I won't sell you a t-shirt. It's on the website. I have nothing to I don't handle it. So
yeah,
I can't autograph one of those t-shirts
yeah,
unless the people send it to me.
yeah.
But yeah, there's so much fake and fraud out
Yeah.
there. But just be
Yeah.
careful, people.
Yeah. So now, so there's no connection between the West Coast Wizard and the Kennedy family that you're aware of. Okay.
No, his whole thing was he was pretending to be George. The Q movement was pretending George. You know, David Straight, working with the Trump organization, put a man on Mount Rushmore for publicity. David Straight ended up dying not too long ago. I don't know what the circumstances there were, but I was shocked to see that they were putting that fake bullshit out there because I know the real truth. Once I see it, I know it's bullshit
Yeah,
straight up.
of course.
Anyway, David Straight working with the Trumps because they told you that in their video. But anyway, that was all bullshit that John Kennedy Jr. is coming back to run with Trump. All this spin. I don't know where they get this fucking crap. These people must be fucking ignorant. They really must be stupid. But then there's people that believe that shit. That George Onassis coming back to be Donald Trump's running mate. It's just crazy what people will buy. I mean, the guy's been dead since 1999, for Christ's sake.
They want hope. They want hope. And so basically, they're thinking, the Kennedys have such a good reputation, or your dad did, let's say your father had a great reputation for being a good president, honest, and helping the people. They
Yeah.
want that so bad.
Well, if they want the truth, they can go to the website. They can go to the Quiet Journey. I'm all about the truth. And if they want somebody to get the truth
Yeah,
from, I'm the man.
yeah.
I ain't gonna
Okay,
bullshit somebody.
okay.
I'm gonna tell it straight up how it is. And sometimes I get in trouble for telling it straight
No,
up.
no, we always want the truth. Okay. And I like the way you're saying it because it's honest. It's honest. Okay, so one more quick little question. Any connection between the Kennedy family and Doris Day?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I know I met so many Hollywood actors. It is all run by the cabal.
right.
Um, was my dad part of the cabal? I don't know to what extent was he being controlled. Yes, I believe that he was, just with all the photo ops and things that I remember. All the way to me drinking a Coca-Cola, I'm sure that was to sell 1 million Cokes.
Right.
So was he involved? But they had him assassinated. Why? Because he saw all the problems and what was being done to the American people, that he loved the American people. So he went against the cabal. That's like somebody coming in my house saying, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And if you don't, we're going to kill you. And my answers would be, go fuck yourself. Give it a shot.
So the short
And I
answer.
would probably kill them before they left the house anyway. So
Okay, so
Wayne
no.
taught me that. Wayne taught me how to do that kind of stuff.
All right, that's funny. Okay, so the answer is you don't know about your family ties with Doris Day, although you obviously have met her and worked with her on the
Oh,
movie.
I was in bed with Brian Keith. I call,
Yeah,
being in under MK Ultra, they sat me down with Doris Day and Brian Keith and said, "This is your new mommy and daddy." So when they practiced the lines, I was right there calling her mommy, calling him daddy. So it looked real.
right.
And I believe a lot of children, um, Jackie Collins wrote a book, The Hollywood Kids. I think she was in on, she's a famous author. She even wanted to write a book about me one time. And she's not alive to this day, but I believe a lot of the Hollywood actor children were under MK Ultra, just like I was. You get a child and you program that child. You say, "This is your name. Your name's Tommy now. You're gonna say, Mommy had you do this, and Mommy had you do that." So then when you're under the camera, and somebody says, "What's your name?" and you say, "My name's Tommy, and Mommy said this, and Mommy said that,"
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're just repeating what you
yeah,
were told under a deep hypnosis state.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Okay.
think there's a lot of victims to that. I watch Leave It to Beaver all the time. And you look back when he was a little kid, the acting is so good. his lines are so believable. He was a little kid. How did he know to do all those lines? And I'm thinking MK Ultra.
I actually have wondered about that throughout my life. Like, how can these little kids be so good? And now we know. Okay.
Yeah. They're
Because for
programmed, just like I was
mo-
programmed. I'm a
most
good
people
example.
have to practice and memorize and go like physically walk around and practice and practice and practice. And these little kids are just spot on, some of them.
Yeah, and they all have their handlers, like I had the handlers, the handlers that would take me to Hollywood to do the lines, to meet the people,
Yeah. And
and say, hey, we got John Kennedy Jr. right
yeah.
here, and we're.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we're at a good resting point for today. We got through a few questions. I have many more. So
Oh, well, let's plan it for sometime soon then.
yes, we'll do another one. So again, for everyone to share the videos, the stories, watch the Quiet Journey TV, pass this all around to your friends, family, and associates, and buy a bunch of pendants.
Yeah, please. And hit me up for some bumper stickers so we can
Yeah.
get bumper stickers all
Yeah.
around this country,
All
all around the
right.
world. I
Yeah.
want, I would love to see the Quiet Journey TV all over on all kinds of cars all around the world.
Yeah.
It'd
Me
be
too.
awesome.
Me
It
too.
would bust their bubble they're putting us in. It really would. Old
That's
school.
right. Yep. So, well, thank you so, so very much for your time as always and sharing the story. And we're not letting up. This is the year, guys. This is the year.
We love you, Sue, for all you do, and it's so appreciated. It really is. You're awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for marching by my side on this thing.
Yeah. Hey,
And the
you know
and the
what?
king too. So many wonderful lions out there that are standing up and making a big difference.
Everyone does their piece, and I wish I could do more. I'm stretched thin time-wise, but everyone does what they're good at or what they like to do or what they feel called to do. And little, like my mother would say, many hands make light work, right? So if we all
Yeah,
pitch in, it's gonna happen.
it affects us all. It
Yep.
does.
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.